everybody. Dave Webster here with the Comic Artist Evolution ID Crisis Design. And I am live on this channel. I wanted to start this a little bit earlier. Sorry, as soon as I got the idea to start doing the stream, I was working on some stuff last night while I was watching EVS and Cecil going over the doing the stream there. Love that stream. That was really fun. But I was about to start, and then I remembered my one painter friend was bringing this back over, helmet that I painted, and he cleared it. Normally I do this stuff, but anybody that's been following the story, or my story is that just down someplace where it won't fall over. My shop space I was renting, and I was gonna do. I used to do that stuff myself, but the products, although I found some really good stuff from Tamco Paint that is it's inexpensive, comparably inexpensive, really good stuff. It's still that kind of material is expensive. The sandpapers, the booth space, and things like that. And I spent so much time learning how to do everything except for the art that I felt like I was just wasting time and rent money and stuff. So I paid my last check at the beginning of this month, and I've been moving stuff out, trying to sold my compressor and one of the big metal cabinets, and now I'm trying to find space in my house for the rest of the stuff that didn't get sold. So if anybody is out there from the local Houston, Canonsburg area wants some auto body stuff. So anyways, I moved this page over. Let's see. Now this is what I'm getting into is I'm trying to learn all these aspects of putting a comic book together. I know that there's more ways than one to skin this cat, but and I believe it was on one of the last streams I did. I was talking about how it feels to be doing this. To me personally, it's I don't want to be doing anything else. This is what I want to be working on. Sorry, I keep getting texts from Yield. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. No. Anyways, so I had my the page that I had, and I was considering doing some. I was actually considering redoing this page. Okay, so I had this page here inked up, and this is a first page where I decided that the intro to the book that I'm writing, the chapters that I had laid out with Julius Freeman giving me a huge help and helping me write this. We decided that the beginning of the book was too slow moving. It was too linear, and I wanted to not start sentences over 5 times. What I wanted to do was start the book off with something a little more action oriented, and maybe in a where we are now, and then go back to how we got here. So I got 8 pages of introduction so that you can see exactly how this characters work together, what their purpose is, what their motivations are, and introduce you to sort of not crossing the finish line, but letting the reader know where the finish line is before we start talking about how we got there. Okay, so in doing that, one of the things that I was messing with was scanning the page in and getting the levels right. In fact, when I first inked this, I was using a Higgins Black Magic ink, and I found it to be very watery, and I didn't like it. So I scanned it in and I tried to crank out the levels to get as much contrast as possible, but it just wasn't good enough. I was getting too much gray, and it was getting like too pixelated for me, and I thought it was just going to print up straight ugly. So I went out, I did a little bit more research on the kind of ink I was going to use, and I inked it up, scanned it in again, and I'm much happier with the blacks and the darks. I'm sorry. Anyways, so the point here is that I've already got it scanned in, and I was messing with Clip Studio Paint. And I guess I'll open the page in there because what I was doing in Clip Studio Paint was I wanted to see what their stop screen. Okay, I'll get back to this and probably put a hat on as well. My hair is all frizzy. I'm gonna go window here. Okay. All right. So I did some lettering in Clip Studio Paint. Not necessarily my thing. I mean, I love the way the brushes feel. I downloaded I purchased the RAM Art Studio brushes, and I got those downloaded so that I could draw with those and experiment with those. But then I was also using the word balloon function here, and one of the things I wanted to do was turn these parallelogram. Got that? And it wouldn't let me, and I just basically gave up. I tried making some of my own balloons, and I found the functionality of word balloons in Clip Studio Paint to be somewhat limiting. And it's gonna do more with, and it's somewhat limiting for how well I know the program, which is not that great. I know Illustrator like the back of my hand, or at least what I know about Illustrator, I'm really good at, using the pen tool and creating brushes and blends, and I just know the program better. So I decided to take what I had, put it into Illustrator, and continue from there, so that I could then, might as well teach you guys what I figured out. All right, so I'm going to close Clip Studio. What you're seeing is this is Illustrator. This is on a 2008 Mac, and so what you're seeing is this. Okay, we've got some narration boxes. Okay, and I don't know if this translates across the screen that you're looking at, but here I can see the text. These are actual, because I exported from Clip Studio into a Photoshop document. So these are their own layers, uneditable. But the lettering's in there. This is it's a standard comic book font. Here is where our difference is. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, this is one stroke. So if I go into wireframe mode, Command Y, and you can see the different things that I'm doing here. You can see how the structure of this is made up. Oops, get that out of there. How the structure of this is made up. You can see these curves, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know why you can't see my pointer. That's I think that's crap. I wonder if there's a way they'll let me do that. Share screen. There's no option for show the pointer. That's bogus. Anyways, so Maybe you can hear me better now. I brought the microphone down. So I'm going to show you how I got here. Okay. Some of this takes a little bit of movement and tweaking and stuff just to get certain things to line up. And I want to get a little bit better at this. But because I did the speech arrow the way that I did, it's going to be two separate pieces for now. All right, so this is something that I had hopped on to. Julius was doing Ghetto Dragon. He was doing a stream before, and I was watching it, and I was like, well, dude, let me on and see if I can show you some things, because I've lived in Illustrator for like a while. I do some design work and like retracing paths and just really got into the program. So I feel so much more comfortable here. Now you can see this part of the page. I'm going to lock this down, Command 2, so that anything else that I pick, it doesn't move it around anymore. Okay, look, we got somebody. We got Timothy. What's up, bro?
How's it going, man? What you got here? What?
First page, I'm going through some working on balloons in Illustrator. And part of that is understanding how to work with brushes, which is these guys over here that I've created. And they can't see my arrow. So I can't like everywhere that I'm moving my arrow around the screen, nobody can see that. So they're just going to have to imagine when they see something change or flicker on the screen. That's kind of where I'm at. So these brushes here, I was going to show people how I created these things. Right, so let me unlock everything. That's Command Option 2.
Oh, is that the character you made that has a straight jacket or something?
Yeah, exactly. That's Meat Hook. This is whoops. So select all. I'm just going to move all this stuff over here. And I was just gonna show people exactly how it is that I created these. They're brushes, so that if I want to make a thought balloon or a word balloon, I can do that. I'll just pull out the ellipse tool, and that's a regular balloon. If I get my pen tool over here, and I create 3 nodes, and then I can pull one out, and easy enough, make a thought balloon or make a word balloon. If I want to turn this into a thought balloon, which people don't seem to use those anymore, I've noticed, or at least they're like poo-pooed or whatever.
Well, why not? Thought balloons have a place and have an importance.
Yeah, I know. It was always like I always wondered what that was about. How come I didn't see as many as I used to?
I mean,
So, anyways, I don't see as many. I see a lot of narration. I don't see as many thought balloons as I used to see. I mean, maybe I'm not reading enough comics, but like when I pick up my old ones, I see them all the time. Superman's always like, thinking to himself.
Yeah, you don't want your. I was gonna say you don't want your character saying everything he's thinking. It'd be like somebody in real life just saying everything they're thinking.
Yeah.
Which might be funny.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if I got this right. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, when you go into your brushes palette, but basically what I did here in order to get this, and I don't know if everybody can see this or not. You can apply this to any to an ellipse. You just go over here and put on your thought balloon. Double click on apply stroke. So and then anyway, so how I got that was pulled out the pen tool. I'm using just a black line. Let's see if I can get in on this real close here. The first line I created is a small little dash, and then everything after that is curves. Or if I want to, I can just create a bunch of circles next to each other, like so. Select all of them. Go over to the Pathfinder, and then select this first. If you can see these things lighting up over on the right, select this first one called Group. Those go to this node line. Connect these two, and then let's see what happens. The real trick to this is making sure that your first that your first line here over on the left, as if you're reading, like this right here.
Did you freeze up? Uh-oh, I think you froze up. Well, hello, folks, if you're watching. I guess you must have dropped out. So, yeah. do, 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 do.
What a pain in the ass. God, and boy, does that piss me off. Yes, Tim, you are right. I don't know what. I don't know. It's probably the VPN. All right. Anyways, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen here. Oh, let's see if I can let people know that I haven't been kidnapped. Anyways, all right. So hell of a thing. I wish you could really see that. Okay, you can, if I share, so if I share the window, you can see the thing. All right, fine. We'll just make this huge. Okay. I'm just going to start this all over again since if I share the application window, no arrow. So we won't do that. Okay, over here, I'm going to show you how to make these guys right here. You can see this is a thought balloon. You can have multiples of these so it doesn't look like you're repeating all the time. So just to give you, go back over here. Okay, your first and last nodes are going to want to be on the same level, and they're going to want to be pointing away from each other straight. You can't end one of these lines on a curve, otherwise it won't stitch together the right way. So I'm going to lock this one line down so that I don't end up selecting it by mistake. And I want to go in like really close and see if you guys can see this better. So I always have my pen tool in precise mode. I just prefer that. So click, and I'll hold shift down so that I'm constrained to an angle. In this case, is 0. It doesn't have to be a long line like this. It just has to be like a little one, just so that your end line is going straight, not curved, like so. Okay, and as I was explaining before, you're putting a series of, let me get this so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. A series of loops, right? Now, if I want to put a sharp corner on one of these, yeah, I'm going to click right here on this node, and that will allow me to start a new corner. Otherwise, I'll end up with an S-curve like that, and I don't want that. Start a new corner and come down this way. And if I want to make the loop go a little bit further, I can do that. I'll hold down the command key so that I have handles to work with to make that loop a little bit more circular. And then I can hold the command key down, have my direct select tool, and then click off. Okay. Another way that I can do this is with a series of circles or ellipses, and put them all together like this. Here, select them all, right? And it doesn't have to be. I can just make sure that each one of them is partially selected. What's up? Yeah. I don't think Tim's back in yet, but he is afraid for my life. I told him that they paid the ransom, and I'm back. And the ransom was expensive. I am a high value item. Sorry. Can we get anything to work right today? Beat it into submission. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. If you can see where the arrow is on the Pathfinder tool on these circles here, I'm going to combine all of those. Now, of course, we don't want all of them. I'm going to get rid of one node on one side, and I'm going to get rid of one node on the other side, and then I can click anywhere on this. Yeah, should be the same link. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get my, I guess there we go. I knew you'd find your way back. I mean, shit, if I could. Holy crap.
Yeah, technical difficulties. I was actually in the chat for a second.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna, the hell happened? There we go. I was going to send you the link again, but I'm like, it's kind of the same link. It's nice. I mean, I probably could have rebooted this computer and it would have still been there. So anyways, I was just going through how to do this with circles or the pen tool. It's like two ways so far to skin this cat. So click on this node and then pull out my straight line going that way. I want to make sure that the beginning and end of this line are on the same plane, or at least I find that to be the safest way to go. So I'm just going to take these two. Let's see if I can zoom in even further. I'm going to take these two nodes. You can see how they're darker, and the rest of these are unselected. So that when I pull this one, it's just this part of the line that I'm grabbing. And all I want to do is just bring it down here, so that it's on the same the guideline. And then I can like maybe round this out if I'm a little bit more if I'm going to be OCD about it. So if I go into wireframe mode, you can see, get rid of this. You can see the way these lines are constructed. We got a straight one going this way, and we got a straight one going in the opposite way. And the reason we do that is so that when this pattern brush, which is what we're going to make, we're going to go to brushes, going to go down here where there's a new brush, and we're going to pick pattern brush, hit OK, and then there's a bunch of options and stuff in here that we can pick. So on the outside corners, it basically looks the way it's supposed to. On the inside corners, not so much. And that's going to be this one right here. We're talking about what where the line is going to advance on the outside. So we have it looking correct. There's outside corners and inside corners. Okay, so we've got it set up there in the bottom. This is the last one that we created. So we can make a circle, and we can apply that brush, and that basically is it's very small, but that's your thought balloon. And if this stroke looks like way too thick, then we can go back, double click, go back in there. We can turn it down to like maybe 47% or 30%, and we can make the line smaller, but it also gives you more of the bubbles. So yeah. Anyway, so that's how you do your thought balloon. But that's where, like, if you don't put those little pieces in on the ends, you'll end up with these little pie slices that are missing from going all the way around. And then you can make a regular brush and pick one of these guys. Okay, now of course here we're going to have to do the same. We're going to have to do the same thing where we kind of bring our. Am I doing this right? Yeah. Scale proportionally. Yeah, see, some of this stuff, and I'll be completely honest, some of the stuff is taking a little bit more, what do you call it? A little bit more thought, because the way, and it might be the way that you adjust your preferences too, because if I go into general and I want to make sure that right here, scale, stroke, and effects is unclicked, then that might prevent this whenever I go to make it bigger. Come on, AIM. Whenever I go to make it bigger, it doesn't actually make the line any thicker. And I think that's what my problem was.
Check out the screen I'm sharing.
Now, which one's this?
That's the update for Melvin 3.
Yeah, I saw some of the stuff for Melvin half. You put some stuff on Twitter that was like, it was the artwork was a lot nicer.
I think
where am I going here?
Sherwin's kind of changed up his style a bit.
Now, whoops. What am I even sharing right now? Okay, so you took it down. Yeah, what was I'll see if I can get to this real quick. Oh, hey, by the way, you know I backed you twice, right? Did you go away? Are you still there? Oh, sorry. You still there?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I actually kicked you off the stream by mistake.
Yeah. I think you got. I think you got the Sherman cover, and then I think you got the one that was the original cover, and then the two variants.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna have to go back in there. I think I'm gonna have to go back there and look. My cord is not long enough, dude. I don't know if you can see it from here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make it. I'm gonna have to make this bigger.
Yeah, I had to
this?
finish.
This shelf.
Yeah.
Okay. These are like my father-in-law painted these for my wife whenever she was a little girl. But if you see over in the left, there's a stack of books there next to that red car. That's all the Comicsgate stuff that I haven't read yet. There's just way too much stuff.
Well, let me show you what I'm shipping out recently.
All right.
Dang that allergy! I'm kicking my butt. So I'm going to be sending out. I'm going to be sending out most of these, and then I think by probably December, I'm going to be ordering more Melvin number original covers,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's see, it was the Melvin cover, the two fair, and I got order more the Ed Ewing cover or something like that. So when I order those, then I'll be able to send out those combo packs.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's well, I mean, all of this here is a learning process for me. Even like doing this stream, like I have to get better on my timing. I thought I had a break where I could throw this joke in.
I mean, at least you're not anybody in Canada, and I think I got one guy in Peru that backed a book.
Oh wow, really?
So the guy who backed from Peru he's going to be dead last because I can't imagine the shipping for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it all like, it's not just a wash. I mean, you made enough on the thing so that you could, like afford the shipping, right?
Right. I've just been kind of piecemealing it out in certain waves. I've gotten down to the dealer, the colored version of Melvin, and the combo packs, and then once I got that, I can finish I can start working on shipping to Canada and Peru.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me get back to this real quick. I
apologize if I kept you waiting.
No, that's okay. No. In fact, I only mentioned it because you were right here. I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah.
All right. Because I read the book and I got the the button and the sticker and stuff like that, and then it's not like an out of sight, out of mind thing. But I just happened to be going through my Indiegogo stuff the other day just to see what's out there, what's waiting to come in and stuff. And I'm going through the pages and I'm like, wait a minute, I backed it and I saw it on one page and then I went 3 pages across, and I saw it again and I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Yeah. But I'm not worried about it.
All right.
So, but the same thing here with this particular, with this particular word balloon. One of the characters in my leaf stroke. See, that's one of the things about brushes. If you've got one applied over here and you use the same stroke on another shape, if you change it up in the palette, I'll just actually do it. I'll crank this thing out way super big, and you see how it affects the stuff that I've already done. Watch all the word balloons change because they're all using the same stroke. So what I have to do here is create and copy another one, okay, and apply this one that I just created to this shape here. Then if I crank this out and make it absolutely crazy, it'll do it just to this one and not to the others. Anyways. And what I did to this one, I created it so that it would show up better on a black background. it's got white around the black, around the white. So that's the difference there. And how that happens is by, let's see if I can go back to where I had these guys. Okay. All right. I'll do the same thing to this. In fact, I'll put a little gray in the back so that you guys can see what's happening. Just get a little bit of color, throw that in the back. Okay, and then lock it down. Okay, so in order to do that thing with the outline color, you have to put another stroke on this stroke. In the appearances palette, it shows you up here, it shows you what is happening with this shape, what's happening before and after and front and on the top and in the back and whatever. So right now the stroke is on the top of where the color is. I can take this and pull it down. I don't know if you can see in that palette in the upper right under my logo. And I pull it down under the fill. So now the fill is on top. The stroke is, you can see how the fill is right on the edge of the path, and then the stroke is twice as thick. I do this a lot with my stuff. But what we're doing is we're going to get rid of the fill. We're going to create another stroke, and the one that's underneath we're going to turn white. And of course, this is, you can do it in color, but we're working with a black and white. And what I've been using is a stroke width of 2.5 for the white and a stroke width of 1 for the black, so that whenever you end up throwing this, I'll create another pattern brush, change this to auto-centered like it was before. And now if I create over here, we'll do it on this brick wall. If I create another bubble and I apply that new, where are we at? Yeah, we create the, this is interesting. Okay, if we create this new bubble, we can see that it's actually going in the wrong direction. Click on this, flip it, I'll flip this along, so it's basically saying whatever the stroke is, we flip it the other way around and go, and there. I apply that to the strokes. I can, where is it? Fill it with white, or any color really, but this is a black and white book. Fill it with white, and then aside from these gaps, it's basically a thought balloon with white behind it. I want to get up in here and see. Now, one of the ways to fix this out here, and this is one of the things, is once you do this, you can't unchange it. So a lot of times, if you need to remanipulate the balloon, I'll put a copy of it over here. Whoops. I will put a copy of it over here. Object, expand appearance, which is one thing. That means that it's expanding from what it looks like into something more manipulatable. And you can always see what's actually happening here with the wireframe palette. That's not what I want. What do I want? I want to get rid of this balloon line, because this already here, this all exists, but now it's not filled in with white, and we're going to actually fill it with white. Select this whole thing, go to Object, Expand. We're going to expand the fill and the stroke, and now it just goes crazy. Okay, so we have a white shape, a black shape, a black shape, and a white shape. And what we're going to do is basically combine. If you can see, this is where things get a little bit complicated. This is one shape, this is another shape. See these two lines here? Those are the beginning and ending of one of those strokes. So you're telling the computer to make the brush look like the path that we created the brush with, and even more than that, just the shapes that make up the path that we made the brush with. You're breaking it down into its specific elements. But then with the Pathfinder, this is going to take some rewinding for people who are going to follow this again. You combine those things together. They don't always line up, so there's going to be like these artifacts and shit that you need to get rid of. Yeah, I'm going to pathfind these black shapes, because that's what we've got now is the black. Pathfind those black shapes together. And then there's these like leftover junk. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. This is where the OCD kicks in. There, and then I'm just going to combine these two. That's a Command J. That just puts two nodes together with a straight line across it. Same thing is happening over here. I regret to inform everyone. Group those together. We can just do it to all the white stuff. Group these together. Okay, and eventually what you're going to end up with is a shape where you can, I don't know if it's even possible to explain this. You're going to end up with a shape so that what you're doing is getting rid of the this isn't working out for me. It's not doing what I want. Yeah, group those together. And once all of these are all knitted together, you just get rid of the one shape on the inside. Yeah, I totally painted myself into a corner. I don't want to do this forever, but I do want people to see how it's done. It might not even be the most. The point is once you have these brushes figured out, you don't necessarily have to do all this crap that I'm doing right now. I'm sort of defeating the purpose of the lesson. You create the brush so that you don't have to do all this complicated crap. Now the cool part about it is this is something that I was showing Julius on his channel. Say I'm going to make it could be a word balloon, it could be a narration balloon, a thought balloon, it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, I'm going to create it here. I'll fill it with some color so that you can see it. And then I'm going to I'm just going to find some script because I know it's already up. I just want to copy and paste some text. So here it is. I should probably introduce people to these captions. Or to these characters while I have the caption, because there's some editing I did. I decided that there's way too many words to fit on this front page, and I'm going to be doing some explaining on the next page. So I hit T for the type tool. I'm going to put the arrow on the edge here. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this turning into a little circle right there instead of a square? That's the type and area tool. So everything that I'm going to put on there, I'm going to paste. Okay, and then I'm going to use the direct select tool. I'm just going to take the one arrow, select just the wire frame, and I'm going to fill it with white with a black outline. I'm going to change this to the font that I want to use, and I like to compress my text a little bit more just so I can fit some more of it in there. Make it a center justified. That's up here at the top. There's a bunch of places that you can do that. And then this is the really cool part. You go into type, area type options, and put it on preview so that you can see what you're doing. And then you can insert your spacing that actually it gives you an automatic border to your you know, like, well, you know what I mean? Like it keeps it from going all the way out to the edge. This should actually be an auto size. I don't know why it's not doing it. Because that's how we did these other ones. You can do your first baseline from like leading, X height, change a whole bunch. And this is all just has to do with typography. I can change, it's a little bit clunky, but I can change where this text goes. I can also do that from here. If I select this text, I can go over here to the character palette and lower it or make it higher. As I can adjust where the letters sit inside the bubble. Now the tricky part here is if you decide to make a little arrow, like a speech arrow off of this, it'll actually change how the letters sit because it's trying to calculate where these things belong inside the shape that you now just changed with a little arrow. So if you want, you can just undo that, undo that, undo that. You can copy this whole thing, paste it somewhere else. take your letters out of it. Actually, where are we going here? X. Yeah, it's telling me I don't know what I'm doing again. Come on, I just want the one thing. Yeah, you can. Stop telling me I can't do it. Well, at any rate, the simple solution is to just create another bubble around it. Here we go. Here, go in the back. Get rid of this outline, and then you've got another balloon here that you can manipulate without worrying where your words are going to end up. You can move this thing all over the place, and then those words won't move at all. I got so much junk coming in my email. But I like this because it's just easy. I tried doing this in Clip Studio Pro, and it seems so clunky, and it might have something to do with how I just don't know enough about it. In order to, I'm much better in Illustrator than I am in Clip Studio Paint. The pens and drawing in Clip Studio Paint is just amazing. It feels so smooth and nice. But anyways, where's my thing? All right. Anyways, I'm going to get rid of this. So, I don't know. Since you're here, Timothy, are you still there? Okay, you're muting yourself.
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm working on packaging.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I had a question for you.
Sure.
I sent this off to, did any of that make sense? Because I know it's in my head. I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing, but when I try to explain it, and it starts to, now I'm tripping over the English language, and I'm supposed to know it better than I feel like I do.
Well, are you talking about the way the wording
flows? Oh no, just the way I'm describing how the damn brushes work.
It makes sense. I mean, as
like this here. This word balloon is text inside a path, and so when you go to area type options, I don't know why. This is one of the things that really upsets me, is because yesterday I had this thing on auto size, and it was like, it's great. I didn't have to do any work. It might have been on this. This is the one I had to auto size on. Area type options, yeah, auto size was great. You just clicked on this, and it's just stuck everything exactly where it was supposed to be. Your insert spacing. I could do anything I wanted to with it. It was awesome. But if my insert spacing is 0, it takes it right to the edge, and which is not what we want. We want something like that, so that there's a little bit of negative space around the words, and it's not just crammed. It doesn't feel like it's crammed in.
Oh yeah, I don't have to worry about that. I have a guy who does the lettering, So
right, and this is the thing. I'm not a letterer. I'm just playing one on TV, and actually I don't think I'm doing a very good job at it. I know there's got to be like Eric Weathers, and just names that you hear that they know what they're doing, and it doesn't even have anything to do with just this one aspect of it, but like when to put a bold word in, and it's got to go here, or when to put one of those. When to put something more illustrative in there, and it's got to go right there, and it just fits perfect. Like these dashes, I hate these dashes. So I'm going to want to do my insert spacing a little bit more or less, and see if if that helps. I hate those things. One thing I have noticed is I can only go back so far. It doesn't. I can increase it, but if I want to go back, it only takes me a couple of clicks before it's like it decides to just
Yeah, because that
nah.
now it's cut off right there. I can't read the rest of that.
Yeah, I have to actually put it in manually in here. Yeah, I have to like type it in and whatever. So if I want the box to be
Oh, you might
bigger,
want to make that caption just a tad bit bigger though. So,
what's that?
well, I mean, when you had the caption just a tad bit bigger, it looked like it was perfect. It had that negative space you were talking about.
Well, right now I'm just trying to get rid of the dashes. You know what I mean? Like I hate having these continuation things in there. These guys, because it'll automatically put those in. You know, these right here. There's the hyphens. So if I have to pull the box out so that they disappear, but the way that I had it before, I liked it much better. I'm going to go back to where we were at the beginning. No, that is where we were. So those were in there. I don't like those. So, and I mean, in order for me to get rid of that, I'm just going to, come on. Don't even tell me I locked up. I know that didn't happen. All right. Anyways, what's happening in this panel? I'm going to ask, it's going to be a quiz. And then,
It looks like somebody's memorizing the code to get in.
sort of, once we get there we
Memorizing, I mean.
There's aspects to this costume that are, I don't want to say they're, I don't want to say, there's all these like teeny tiny influences from a bunch of different books. I figured if you borrowed a little bit from a bunch of things, then nobody would be able to tell where you're taking what from. Because like all of the stuff that we're creating, they're all amalgams of something else. I mean, even Cyberfrog is a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, pretty much.
What I mean? For the, if you distill it down to its basic form, and it's a different take on that, and then you throw in some human interaction. I mean, I think it's influence is influence. You're not gonna not see it. It's like King Solomon said, "There's nothing new under the sun." But yeah, narration boxes, and the thing that I was concerned about is can you read that from there or no? Or is it too small?
It's too small.
All right. How about that? How about now? I mean, is that too small? Or are you reading, or is that too small?
I can read it.
Oh, okay. I just want to know if you can tell what's going on. This is the first comic book page I ever got this far on.
We believe children are being held here, but all the windows are boarded up, and these vacants boarded up in these vacants.
Vacants, yeah, like a vacant building. They're all like just old.
All these vacants.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have no visual confirmation. Yeah, I can read that perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Now, I mean, the next the next question is, I mean, by the dialogue, can you actually tell what's going on? Yeah, well, a vacant is like
vacant building. I thought okay, I think that's what he's going for I thought maybe you're saying like vagrants or vacancies or. Oh, but you're saying vacant buildings, yeah.
Yeah, these vacant buildings. Yeah. So I'm trying to introduce the character where they are now and then go back and do the origin story. But the one thing that I'm not sure how to convey is that communication is happening between two people, one of them over an intercom. So it would be like, when Tony Stark is listening to Jasper.
Scroll down. Okay, is the next page going to take place from the van talking to him, and then it'd be like him talking to the person in the van?
Well, there is no person in a van, but yeah, in another location.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
location.
Well, yeah. In fact, and this is one of the things. If I just basically drew this out. What I was thinking of doing was in Photoshop adding some like monitor lines. You know what I mean? To give you that idea that this is being seen through a TV screen. And if that doesn't work, scrap this insert panel and draw a picture of a monitor with this image on it. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like
yeah, I think you would.
somebody sitting there looking at this, so that we know, excuse me, so that we know that these cameras are conveying this image to. That's the whole point behind these balloons being electrified.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like, okay, the next page. I mean, is there going to be like a page where it actually goes back to the person talking to him, so that kind of drives home the point that there's someone talking to him from another location?
Well, honestly, I haven't even laid that one out yet. But in the script, let's see. I have a whole bunch of pages laid out for everything that happens after the sequence. Let's see. Page 2. Yeah, because page 2 is still him out here. And almost all of this is action. If you're talking about somebody being at the home base communicating with them, then that's probably. And I only need one panel to do that with. I think I don't need a few of them.
Yeah, I could. I mean, one page would be fine, but something that says,
I
"Oh,
don't
oh,
even mean like
this is
one
the
page.
person.
I
This
mean
is
one
the.
panel.
This
Just
is.
you know what I mean. Just to get the point across that somebody's on the other end of this.
Oh,
Well, I
exactly.
mean, because he
Exactly.
does it. Sorry, it is explained. Like one of the pieces of dialogue. Bring it back. One of the narration boxes says says about that voice in my head. Right. Yeah. That voice in my head is Ted Esselgroff, and we call him "it" in quotes. He's the IT guy.
Okay. Okay. See that
He,
works.
yeah, he says like he helped me put this get up together, and without this bucket on my head, I'm just a guy with 2 ears, 2 eyes, and a lot of wishing. With it, I have 8 eyes, motion sensors, FLIR, and then in parentheses, for those who don't know what that is, forward-looking infrared, telescopic night vision, various vocal settings to help with negotiations, and most importantly, someone watching from above. This is basically um, Ted is an amalgam of he's like a microchip slash Jasper slash something else. But I don't want it to be this all powerful thing. I want him to be able, like, I'll be able to show that he knows what he's doing in these first 8 pages. But I don't. One of the things about this character that I don't want him to have is like there are some things that gives him an advantage, but not in an Iron Man kind of way. There are some things that give him some fighting ability, but he's no
He's
Shang-Chi.
he's like a low rent Iron Man mixed a little bit with the Punisher.
Yeah, I mean, and even some Batman type stuff, because there's in the concept was in order for somebody to actually be able to pull something like this off, he'd never be able to do it on his own. He's not. He doesn't have a lot of money, so he's not Bruce Wayne. He has to make all his own stuff, and then he's going to be able to stone soup this stuff together. Like for instance, the backup sensors that you have on your car bumper. Well, if you had a car that has backup sensors, you know what I'm talking about, right? And it's got backup cameras and things like that. When those are placed around his helmet, there's somebody out there who can and also see from the top down, hack a satellite and see what's going on in real time and be able to see there's a guy behind you. You can crank up the sensitivity of those sensors so that you can tell long before something actually comes into contact with your head that somebody's swinging something. And I wanted to kind of convey that something like this could be put together with, car sensors, mini cameras, um, Google glasses. And then I started seeing those commercials for an Oculus, and I'm like, well, what if somebody had a line on the next generation of those things? So yes, you can see with this thing on your head, you can't physically see out of it, but like Daredevil, so much of it is displayed in front of you on like a wide angle that you have a visual advantage. You have a sensory advantage because there's an alarm going off that there's someone behind you, like in a video game. But this thing is a giant metal shell, so if somebody tries to swing at you with a baseball bat and connects, it won't knock you out.
So you're like the whole team, though, right?
Well, there is an entire team available for things like there's I don't know why I decided to pick a name that I can never remember if it's a Darren or a Derek.
No, I'm talking about the creative team for this endeavor.
Except for Julius. Julius Freeman was helping me write this. But it's the kind of thing where you sit with a script long enough and you sit there and I'm trying to I don't want to put it up against the real world, but I wanted to put it up against something realistic to where I can let a couple of the physics go where his fighting style, he's actually using some complicated weapons, but they'll look really cool. And he'll be able to do a Billy Club's web slinging type thing with these metal hooks. So when you see this stuff all wrapped up, he'll be able to like unwrap this and take these hooks and swing them around in some kind of a kung fu type style weapon, like a Chinese chain whip or something like that. Can he take small arms fire? Yeah. Why? Because there's some plates strategically placed here and there. So he's not invulnerable, but you can write it in such a way where if he takes if somebody takes some meat off his shoulder, it's believable. It's also believable if they don't get lucky. In the same way that Batman, he puts some hinges in his armor so that he can move around better. But those are all the vulnerable points. And just like any human body, these anywhere where you've got a bend, that's a weak spot. Behind your knee and your groin, your elbow, your neck, all that stuff.
I see.
So, but I'm trying to. It's I don't want to say I won't want to say like low rent Iron Man. I would say a blue collar version.
Yeah.
And it was something that was making me think when I was putting this page together is that if you can mess around with how he can hear and how he can see, then you can also mess around with how he can speak. So that his voice isn't picked up. You can, his
what I mean by
what's that?
You know what I mean by low rent? I mean like Iron
Man.
Yeah. He's got all this money he can throw into his suit, but this guy has like what he can afford or what he can get his hands on.
Right. Oh, right. Exactly. And that's one of the things is if he's this, master mechanic fabricator, and he's basically, there will be those scenes where he's there with a grinding wheel or a welding torch or something like that, putting this together, or Ted is over there doing some wiring, or his little Chola helper is working on something. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do with. You can make shoes out of tire rubber, that kind of thing. And I don't mean like that's where they're going to take it, but there's a bunch of different ways to explain how these things are innovated. So are you going to a bat cave? No, you're going into like a hot rod shop. But when you pull the steel plate back on that floor and you see those stairs going down there, who knows what's down there? I see a lot of cool stuff here in the future. I just want to get to a place where it look like I'm composing a page, and does what's going on in this page make any kind of sense? I don't want them to be all powerful, but I do want things to make sense though. Like later on, we'll get into what makes this helmet work. Or
that's a close up of the helmet, right?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like these little dots right here like I know what this is, but I need to know if you can tell what this is. And that might, and in the next page, see, because he's this dark figure up here in the corner. And this next page, when
So
he's,
is there like a hole in the glass or something in the
it's
visor?
not glass, it's all metal. And let me
Okay,
see if I
so
can
there's a
zoom.
hole in the metal there, so he can see his way out.
No, he's working on a projection. It's here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, I'll blah, blah, blah. It's in the photos. I can't see what's going on. This is one of those things I'm just going to have to put in like some like companion pages and explain exactly how it is this technology is working. Yeah, in the asphalt. So I'm going to share that.
It'd probably be better explained in like an origin story, like of him actually
Well,
constructing the suit.
right, and that's what this is. Yeah. Okay. That's what this is. This is the first 8 pages of everything working together. The next 8 pages are going to be, say, like reference material on what I want the thing to look like. This is supposed to be not this one, but this one. This is supposed to be Houdini's actual straitjacket. This is Kevlar straps. And this is the original drawing that I had figured out. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to be doing with this at the time. In fact, when I first drew this, it was just a regular happy face. But, the more I thought about, how these things were going to work and come together, it's going to be like, well, yeah, it's not practical. He can't see through that. How are we going to do, make that part of the story? The part of the story is he goes out on his own with not everything that he needs all put together and tries to do it himself and almost gets his ass handed to him by two of these, not knowing that they're twins.
That looks like a tranny.
Do you remember the scene you ever seen Escape from LA?
Yeah.
You know the part where they go into, is it Bruce Campbell is the Surgeon General, and everybody there is like they're overdone with the plastic surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was going for. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
whenever
That came out kind of rude.
no, I don't. I mean, you can. That's fine. I mean, you can however you want to say it. But I wanted it to look like I want it to look weird.
Definitely somebody who's done a lot of unnecessary things to themselves.
Right, and you've seen those before. You know what I mean? Where like somebody's like that chin is too big, though people don't look like that. Your version of what is good looking doesn't make any sense or whatever. But inside this, those cameras those cameras exist on the eye opposite where the X is. So I wanted this to be protective. I also wanted it to be scary to somebody who was an adult and welcoming to a child, which is one of the things I was going to do with these are character sketches for the kid's kidnapped daughter. And this is Darren, that or Derek or Darren's one of those two. I'm gonna have to figure out which one I use the most and stick with that. But he's an EMT. He's the guy that's got all the painkillers and the drugs and stuff. Yeah, those are layout pages. Let's see. That's supposed to be Ted, the computer guy. But anyway, so my point is I want to be able to get the idea behind like how this suit works. I want to be able to carry the story along so that people follow it and they can even ask themselves that question, like, what is going on here? How can he see? And then be able to explain it like later in the origin story, which might not even happen until the next issue. I'm taking people from where things are working right. We'll meet a bunch of people at the end of these 8 pages who are part of the who are part of the team, and this little mission here gets wrapped up in 8 pages, and then we get into the origin story. But all of this stuff is all brought together with like when I say stone soup, do you know what I mean by that?
Nope.
There's an old story about two soldiers who were hungry. So they are going into a town. They're not sure about the people. So just on the outskirts of town, they get a pot of boiling water and they put a rock in it. And they start cooking it over this fire, and they start smelling it and going, that tastes so good. That smells great. That smells so good. Somebody comes out from the town and they say, what are you making? And they're like, this is stone soup. It's the best soup in the world, but it's missing something. It could use some carrots. Do you have any? And then somebody else comes out and says, what are you making? That's stone soup. It's the best soup in the world, but it's missing something. It needs, So they do that with a bunch of different people, and before long, they've got a big pot of stone soup. Everybody contributed to it unknowingly, but and so when I say stone soup, it's like 5 people who are all like-minded, who are putting their the various talents and stuff into this project, which is to bring down a pedophile ring.
Okay.
Right. So, and the backstory of every one of these characters is, they've been wronged by the justice system or something like that somehow, or they lost. So it's, instead of like Bruce Wayne lost his parents in the alley, and that's the thing that turned him into Batman. Like, okay, here's something. I lost my dad when I was young, and it does screw you up, and there's a lot of things to claw your way back from, but everybody loses people, and it doesn't necessarily turn you into a criminal or a superhero or whatever. But those shared experiences, when somebody says, yeah, you know what, in like Ted's backstory is he was really busy at work. His parents were asking for help putting up like security system in the house, and he just kept putting it off. And then the house got broken into, they got killed, and now he's got all this guilt. So he wants to do everything he can to, chase down that demon inside him. He's a skinny guy. He's not going to go work out or do anything, but he can help. He can help the main character. If I help him get his daughter back, then I can forgive myself. That kind of thing. There's a state patrol, a California Highway Patrol off-duty guy. He's in there. There's like I was saying, that EMT there, and he's in there, and they all have, because this is all based around like a hot rod shop as a base of operations. They're all part of the car club. Like Ted's, and this is one in the early pages of the origin story. They're working on Ted's hot rod before Ted even becomes part of this story. And he's got this satellite communication system in the rumble seat of his 32 Ford. So it's like this, mobile communications thing where he can take this hot rod around. A rumble seat is when you have a trunk in the back of the car, and when you open it, it's another set of places for people to sit. If you've ever seen one, anyways,
I've seen those.
Yeah, I have to illustrate all that stuff, and it's like I want to make sure that the story doesn't. The story's not so complicated that people can't follow it, but pick up on all these little cool things that I think makes this whole thing unique. I'm hoping that I feel like there's a style to this book that isn't out there. It's familiar enough, but also unfamiliar. At least you say, like, there's no such thing as an original idea, but an undiscovered way of plagiarizing someone else.
Could you see this as an ongoing series or just a graphic novel?
I'd like it to be an ongoing series, because I think it's Dickensian enough to where you can have one of the people going through some internal angst, excuse me, who maybe they don't feel like they're doing enough with the project, and they decide to go out there just to see if they're tough enough, and they get in trouble, and they have to go get rescued, and Maybe there's something, because there's like a DA character who might get together with the state trooper guy, and it's not a superhero team, but think of it this way: it's the things that you are good at in your career are your superpower per se. There is fighting involved, but like you can't get away with some of the stuff that you're getting away from unless you have a really good defense attorney. And
Right.
that defense attorney is going to have to know a lot more about what you're doing in case you get hauled into court. You know what I mean? Or somebody to show evidence to, or who are the dirty cops, who are the clean cops. You know what I mean? Like, who's bent and who isn't. Because the first person that dies in this is a retired police officer. That's how this whole thing starts. Somebody dies, somebody else gets kidnapped, his shop gets broken into, and it's like the worst day that you've ever had. Have you ever read the book of Job? In the very beginning.
Is that where they? What book is that? Is that the one where they go to that town and it's like, was it Sodom or Gomorrah? And
No, that's
they
no.
get.
Job is later in the Bible, but it's supposed to take place way earlier. But he's a guy who has everything. He loves the Lord. And
wait, I think I know. I honestly, I got this.
Yeah.
Is that the one where the devil and God have kind of like
I bet.
Look,
Yeah.
he'll still bless me.
Right.
He'll still believe in me and all that.
Right.
All this horrible stuff happens to Job, and
think of that. Think of all of this horrible stuff happening to you. You're like, this person's gone, this person's dead, this person's kidnapped, everything that I have it's been broken into, my whole place has been tossed. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to turn somebody into a vigilante, I think it's going to take more than just seeing somebody get shot in front of you. That's my point. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be the kind of thing that really pushes you over the edge. You really don't know who to trust, because half the people that are messing with you are the cops, the people that you would go to for help. So you really don't have anyone else to rely on except for your friends and yourself. And they have to see this stuff going on around you and agree with you that you've got no other choice. Otherwise, somebody would say no. They would be like, I cannot hear what I'm listening to. I'm a cop. I got to get out of here. If I hear any more of this, I'd have to take you in. They'd have to be so totally dedicated, because they've been there before, or they know how bent half the department is. And there's you know what I mean. So if somebody's going to do this, it's going to have to be just like the worst day of their life, and that's what
kind of like the Killing Joke kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what the first day is about, or the first issue is about. Why this is even considered? Why would you turn it? And I think I've got something good, but the more I get into it, I'm trying not to make it complicated. And that's one of the things, like, with with my artwork, when I was doing motorcycles and stuff like that, I was or pinstriping specifically, it was always a fight for me to leave some space, and not just have this texture everywhere or these stripes go all over the place. It's like knowing when to stop. So when I was doing this page and writing the story, I'm trying to include just what I need, and I'm trying to I want it to have texture, but at the same time, I want to be a little bit Hemingway and just use the least amount of words possible. One, because I honestly didn't even know how this was going to fit on the page. I had to open a comic book and see that, I printed it out actual size so that I can see that not everything's going to fit. And I need to, bring my font size down. Like, all of this stuff is happening at the same time, and I haven't even, I haven't even put up anything on Indiegogo yet. I just want to get through like this page, and so that I kind of think that I might have sort of maybe know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because
I
like you
get
were
it.
saying before, like you're right. Julius is helping in a huge way, helping me write this, and everything else is up to me. Figuring out the ink that I'm using. I had to go. I had some Higgins Black Magic, and I went out and got something else, and that's just for doing an original page. I also want to do a page on Procreate. I want to do some stuff on Clip Studio, so that so that I'm learning as much as I can while this is going on. But it feels so good. When I'm sitting
Oh,
down
don't worry
here,
about it.
working at the table, it's like this is where I should have been all along.
I'm like, for instance, there's been a lot of times I've had to add pages, or I'm redoing like certain storyboards because maybe the interpretation of the artist, like in page from Melvin 3, I had to kind of redo some, like remove some panels,
Mm-hmm.
shorten it, because sometimes I just go on and on with, or I make it too complicated, so I have to.
Right, exactly. So I mean, and that's one of the nice things about computers is I can take that. I'll just share it again. I can take this. I can take this. Oh wait, I should probably yeah, because you can't really see. I'm gonna have to share it different. Yeah. Can you see the pointer? Yeah, there it is. I can take this into Photoshop, blank it out, scan something else in, and just plug it right in there. Old school, I would have to do this on a completely different piece of paper and paste it up. You know what I mean? Like stick it on there with rubber cement, and then send that to the printer. Hopefully it doesn't look like shit. So yeah, this keypad is supposed to be all he's and there might be a better way of going about this, but all he's doing is zooming in on this doorknob here. And I'm thinking that it might not be a bad idea and let's see how this looks since I'm right here. You be the judge. I could probably do something like this. Oh, come on. Why did you do that to me? I don't even know if this is going to work, but something along these lines. Like literally along these lines.
What exactly am I looking at here?
I'm going to try to make it apparent here in a second. I got to go to
I kind of get what you're going for.
Yeah, I'm trying to do something here where I actually indicate what what the insert frames are for. So if I take this, I'm going to go select same stroke color. It should give me all those. If I bump it up, see, and that's the thing. They're black and white, so it might be hard to see. Yeah, it's not going to work. But anyways, I don't know if you can see this. If I'm somehow able to indicate that this is part of what he's seeing, because I thought it was going to be. That's the thing. Like I know what the story says. I know where it's going. I don't have to interpret anything.
Well, I get it now.
Yeah, but would you get it if you were reading it? Somebody who's just got the book in their hands is going to be going, "Well, I don't understand. Whoops, I don't understand what this insert panel is for. What is that?" Maybe some sound effects. Click, click, whir.
Well, maybe you could zoom in on that right there. No, not right there. Right, the helmet.
This.
Yeah, and kind of duplicate what a faraway version of that panel right there. on there, so you can go, oh, okay, I can see it. It's on the helmet right there.
Yeah, so just give it a little bit more of an indication of what's going on and not leave it black.
Yeah, like right there, you could put,
Oh, come on. What is that? It's a line tool. You mean just like do something there real. I mean, this is basic, but
yeah. So people go, oh, okay, I see. There's that X on that one corner, and then over there, there's a kind of a hole in the visor,
yeah.
and then maybe some circles right over there.
Yes,
So
yeah,
just,
and this is like really small in real life. So whenever I was on it with the pens.
well, I mean, make it more circular so you can see. Oh, I can see where that is.
Yeah, right. Or just hell.
Maybe like a slightly grayish or a slightly less black, outline. Make it like kind of like a less black tone color, like gray or something.
Yeah, not straight up black. Maybe so like maybe just that part is lit up, and then maybe actually stick these on here.
There you go.
Yeah, so get this figured out a little bit more. Yeah, I can do that, but that's the kind of thing that in order to so instead of having this keypad here, maybe that'll work,
Yeah.
but there's going to be plenty of time to introduce the dynamics of how these people work together, I think.
Yeah.
But this is, I almost wanted to draw this whole page over again. And then one of my friends, he does a lot of storyboard work. He said, you know what, get it done. And something that I thought might not be a bad idea, like if this is the first page that I do and it works, then fine. If I spend time trying to make it exactly like better or whatever, then one, it's going to take forever. And two, I'm not going to be able to actually see any growth. And it's not something that anybody reading the book has to see, but I know which pages are in order, and I'm like, yeah, this is the last page I did, and this is the first page I did, and there's a huge difference between the two of them. Like when you practice pinstriping, they tell you, do your first line, do 100 lines as straight as you can, and then erase all of them except for the first one, and then start your next 100 next to that first one, and then erase all those and start your third 100 next to that second one, so that you can actually see your lines getting straighter and straighter. You can see the progress, and that's when you're practicing. Yeah. See, something happened with my word balloon over here, or my. I have no idea why that did that. I might be in a different.
I don't know.
Oh, I do. it's
I was just thinking, like, if you did more close-ups of the guy's helmet, like in other pages, that people would figure it out too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm like, do I really need to, don't I want to convey some kind of mystery here? Like, I want people to understand what's going on, but isn't it typical sometimes with comic books or with any book that you read something on the first page you don't quite get, but you continue on and then it becomes clear. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, but you're right. There does need to be a panel where it's indicated that somebody's watching from somewhere else. I'm pretty sure. I'd be happy with that. But by and large, I mean, do you think I'm sitting okay here? I wanted it to be dark and mysterious.
First good page, I guess.
It's the only one.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's just the first one. It's not just that there's no bad pages out there to compare this one to. This is it. This is the first one.
Yeah, It does kind of have a old Mirage Studios kind of.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, in
Mirage
Mirage Studios, they
Studios.
had more than just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was
See, I
like the
was
most
thinking of
famous.
that. Yeah, I was thinking of that. I didn't know how to apply like Mirage Studios to it, but yeah, I mean, it does have this
They, I mean,
this
they.
this garage, like I was calling it. I would always refer to it as Garage Band. You know, your stuff too. That first one.
Oh
It's
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the things I love. Like, I don't want to just like, well, do I want to do a review of Melvin? Maybe no. Wait for the second and third one to come out, because the beauty of this process is just like those pinstripe lines. The first one versus the 1000s
Oh,
one.
the kind of like a then and now kind of thing.
Before and after, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Melvin
like
number one is definitely a raw, demo tape-ish style comic
right.
book. It's like it's there's
That's the thing. When I have the chance to do them, when I do those reviews, I don't want that to be lost. Like, the last thing that you want to do is, take a bite out of the first cookie of the first batch that your daughter ever made out of her easy bake oven and go, oh my God, this is crap. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, well, I guess she's never going to grow up to be a baker. You know, you're like, oh yeah, it's just I can't wait to see what you do with a real oven. Or something like that. And so like when I see what you're doing, um, I'm not just seeing what it is now, but especially with the artwork that's in the back and the things that you have that you've been posting lately. I can see that there's going to be like a huge jump in quality and a huge jump in growth, and
oh yeah.
even just that is inspiring to somebody like myself who's trying to put this book out. And like this, really, like,
Huge jump in content too.
well, yeah. I mean, I know who I'm competing with, and geez, the worst guy is me. You know how it is. You sit there and you pour over the shit, and you're like, all right, well, I guess was it Da Vinci that said that paintings are never finished; they're only abandoned. And I just have to get this to a point where this page, that you understand what's going on in this page. And if there's something simple that can be changed, I'll change it. Probably like this panel here. Although I don't know if it's necessary. Don't I want this to be honest with doing what I can with the materials that I've got. And It's not like I've got brushes and markers and the white pens. I had to go out and get the white pens so that I could make some corrections. That's where those nasty old holes came from up here. Trying to go back in with white and clean some things up before I scan. Like, I had this thing scanned in, and then I had to go back in and re-ink it because the contrast I couldn't crank the levels out without making it look like absolute crap in Photoshop. So I re-inked I went back over it again with a better ink so that everything would be more black, so that I would be able to start off with a better scan with bolder blacks and whites, and then try to clean it up in the computer. Not too much though. I don't want to do it on the paper and then do it again on the computer.
I get it.
And it's almost like the curse of having enough. Like, I mean, what? I've got an iPad over here. I've got it's an older Mac, but it's still. I mean, I've got freaking Adobe stuff and Clipset Studio, and there's a vinyl cutter over there. And like when I did these bricks, I taped this off, and I went over into where I do my airbrushing, and I speckled it with that's not actually ink, that's black urethane. That's like automotive paint on there. So there's authenticity. I mean, authentism could be a word.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, my last name's Webster. I should be able to make the shit up as I go along. Just say that's a word. What the hell is in my coffee?
Strategery.
Yeah, I know that one. It's funny. They used to make so much fun out of the way that Bush would make up words, but you still knew what he was saying. Meanwhile, these other like silver-tongued devils who can read a teleprompter really good, they just use all manner of 50-cent words, and they don't say shit.
Well, I mean, that's the name of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
But that Brandon guy,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Brandon guy. Oh, have you been watching the Rittenhouse trial?
a little bit, a
Yeah,
little bit.
they cross-examined him today.
I
I'm
mean,
telling you, man, I feel bad for the DA's office if that's your prosecutor. That guy is so stupid.
so when is the verdict? When is the actual verdict going to be
You
read?
know, I'm not sure.
Because
Uh,
I feel like
yeah,
certain people are going to be eating crow.
this is what I'm actually worried about, and it's hard for me to put it down into Twitter. In fact, I think it's going to be another hour before I'm out of Twitter jail again. Somebody had posted one of those things on, they had a picture of whoever the black kid was that went in, who was a school shooter,
Oh yeah.
and then Rittenhouse. Like Rittenhouse has been in jail and prison and stuff, and he's going through this whole trial and whatever. Meanwhile, this other kid got out in like 24 hours, right? And all I put there was, sorry, I'm not, all I put out there was that I thought that Rittenhouse was a better shot. Because,
Oh, I read that tweet. Yeah.
yeah,
I've
yes,
actually learned my lesson. I've been staying. I've only gotten in trouble once
yeah.
because this is like my fourth Twitter account, so I've been actually avoiding trouble.
Well, yeah, and this isn't my it's not my main account. It's not the like I keep the comic stuff and the art stuff away from the political stuff, but I find myself in the political part of it like a lot more because it's you don't I don't need to get a piece of software up and running and do a stream in order to talk about something, and it is it's I don't know I've been
I
following it for
would be
so long.
careful if I were you. Those what those social justice warriors do is they post something like that to get people mad, and it's bait.
Yeah.
As soon
Well,
as you say something, then they report you.
and it's the same. What is it? The same thing that Chappelle said. I'm not really that worried about it because Twitter's not a real place. As far as that account goes, the realities are account. I don't really. I mean, if it goes away, it goes away. Whatever. That's why I don't really get involved with the political stuff on the other account on my main one because it's for crying out loud. I could have one that was based on like gardening and baking or sewing or something like that, and the politics is going to find you there anyways. It's Twitter, you know. What's the one channel that's on YouTube that was based on knitting? She was like this woman was in a knitting group she was all her friends were like, oh my god, you believe this, that, and the other thing? You're supposed to be one of us. Anyways, what was my point? And I did have one. Oh, yeah. So I should be out of Twitter jail there because I was out for a week once, and this is just like what was it? I think it was like 12 hours. I don't even know like how many times you can piss somebody off before they just kill it. It's like what 1, 2, and 3 strikes. It's confusing to me.
Yeah, it's not like a job where you can get in trouble 1 month and then like okay, it's a new month, so you're not really
Yeah.
you know.
I told as my wife is asking me something. I'm like, I told you I was on a stream. I don't care. She's asking about going out to eat. I'm like, I punch in at 5. I don't know what you're talking about. So let's get to my contributions here.
Your contributions.
Well, that's how I find. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Melvin, so I can at least we can talk about him real quick before I get out of here.
Oh, okay.
There it is. There's Melvin number 1, Melvin number 2. Did I do this already? Oh, it's launching soon.
Yep.
Yeah. In case anybody happens to see this later. I don't even. Isn't that how it works? Like you can still see the chat after all that, right?
Oh yeah. I can see it. Oh, you were talking about putting the link down for Melvin number 2. Okay.
Now let's see. Share. Preview tab there. There. Okay. Well, now we can't see the whole thing. Right. Oof. All right. Yeah.
And so you
Now
can see,
you were saying before, like this isn't going to be published. This is concept art or fan art.
well, these are different pages. That's a page like that right there is a
That's
page from
layout.
Melvin. Yeah,
Yeah.
Melvin half, and then the one over there that's a page from Melvin number two.
This is.
There's a little bonus story right there about the origin of the cult.
Uh-huh.
And then that one where he's holding the machine gun, that's going to be a back cover for Melvin Half.
Okay. Yeah, this looks like I feel like I should know this reference.
Rambo.
That's what I thought.
And then if you go up, then there's
that.
Yep, there's that right there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the cover right there.
Oh, it is okay.
Yeah.
And you said this is a familiar name to me too. Who's doing the artwork?
Vic King.
That's right. Yeah, Vic King.
I should be hearing about the artwork today. He's been doing like 2 other books. So.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, is that his full time?
3 other books actually. Yeah, 3 other books. That's how he makes a living. Yeah.
Man, I would love to, because I mean, I don't want to say that this page took forever, but I also don't want to say the one that I'm working on, but I also don't want to say that it didn't take forever. I didn't have it done in a day, but it didn't take forever ever either. I think, was it the last, so I was listening to the last stream last night, and EBS is getting a page out every 2 days, which for his level of work is really pretty good.
This is how many projects Vic's working on.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Melvin number 2, a comic book called Lightbringer.
Okay.
His own project called Bale War.
Okay.
And then the one he's also is going to be Artifice Reanimated.
See, yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah,
So,
man, if I could do this full time, that would be great. But I'd like to find out exactly what I can get out of this project first before I start, dealing with numbers. You know what I mean? Like right now, it's just an algebraic equation with nothing but letters. So I don't have a concept of what the time is versus the money. The overhead's next to nothing. But there's a bunch of other stuff coming down the pike too. Like, I'm not openly advertising any of the custom paint stuff that I do, but people still know that I do it. And there's 2 projects coming down over the winter that are like, half a year's salary worth. So, I don't want to throw that away. I also don't want to be on it forever, because I honestly do. Like last night, all I cared about when I left my job, all I cared about was getting back here so that I could mess with this, page. I even sent a copy out to my brother, and I emailed it out so that I could get their opinion on it as well. They could tell what was going on. But I don't even know if that's fair to ask if you can tell what's going on in one page. I'm not asking that they understand what the entire story is. Just, can you tell what's going on just right here? But anyways,
I've gotten mixed reviews on Melvin number 1. Some people like it. Obviously, I didn't have an editor for the first issue. I hope to have an editor for this one. Right. I just wanted to get my feet wet for the first issue. That's why I was all like, kind of get thrown together on the fly. And
I'm not trying to throw it together on the fly. I'm trying to. It's like multifaceted. I want to do a good job. I want to learn as much as I can along the way, and I want other people to come along with me while I'm learning, which was the point of, this is what I've been doing with my word balloons. But then I get halfway into it, and I'm trying to explain what's going on, and I find that I'm not even good at finding the words to use to this tool over here is the pen tool, and if you click on these things here, and then that does that, and it's like, um, for somebody who has never used Illustrator before, it's probably making their eyes cross.
I don't know. I learned so much from like just kind of the way I did it. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, there's learning about it, and then there's teaching while you're learning. But I don't know. I'm like I sit there. I feel like like I am right now. I'm trying to explain what's going on, and I sound like this.
Oh, I get it. I mean, I get it. It's not a done book yet, so some could change in between. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully. I mean, it's all developing all at the same time. The story is developing as the characters are developing, as my ability to put a page out and letter it is developing. Do I want to even do it in color or not? This first page I felt pretty comfortable doing because it can stand alone as black and white. And even if I do put color in it, the color is going to be so minimal, it shouldn't make anything look really muddy. If I try to put color into any of the other pages, I'm going to have to really seriously think about it, because at night in an alley with black and white, that's, you know what I mean? Like if you decide to put color in it, it's going to be, I want it to have this, I tell you what, who's really good with color? And I've had the book here forever and I'm still trying to figure out when it is I'm going to be able to read it is, Michael Bancroft. The way that he communicates mood is absolutely amazing. He doesn't like you. Yeah, you can do bright colors and make stuff look amazing and exciting and stuff like that. But then there's also the times where you don't want it to be. When it's going to be night and cold. And he understands color and emotion so well. I've been trying to, like remember that you want to do that too if you're going to be working with color in your book. But I don't know. You're only doing black and white still?
Oh yeah. The only one I did color on is the Dillard cover, the one I'm sending out now.
Right. Okay.
Which I have about like 5, I think, to send out, and then it'll just be then like I think that's like 10 in all on the combo packs, and then I should be done.
Okay.
There's also like the 2 Canadians, and then the the guy from Peru, I think.
Yeah, well, the guy from Peru, I'm sure will be happy. I mean, why not? At least, and here's the thing: like you're fulfilling, you're crossing that finish line. And I've done that before with other products. I haven't done it with a comic book. And I mean, is it a lot to keep together in your head when you're like, all right, this guy ordered this, and this.
I always go back to the backers list and kind of like I did it in sections. Like I'll go to the perks and I'll choose the perk 1, and then I'll that's the list I work on until that's taken care of, and then I move on to the next perk.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it makes it it's not super complicated.
I didn't feel like it was.
All right.
Of course, I started like right after I had finished, so
that's cool. Well, listen, I punch in at 5, and I still got to get some stuff together before I am suitable for public consumption. So I'm going to call it. And then the next time I throw out an invitation, I'm sure you seem to be the one guy who wants to come on here more than anything.
Oh yeah, I kind of just jump on like in between what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wonder though. I mean, there's got to be a better way to get the word out. I didn't know that I was going to be streaming today. To tell you the truth, it was just as long as I'm going to be doing this, I might as well stream about it while I'm doing it. And then I was like, oh shit, that dude's coming over to drop off the helmet. And actually, I gotta call this guy and tell him this is done. This is the last thing I was working on.
Oh, whoa.
Where is it?
And the skulls.
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Cool.
Is that focusing?
How much you
Focus.
usually charge for the? I mean, I don't tell me, but
Where is it?
man,
No, that's all right.
I was thinking, man, how cool it'd be to have a official Melvin bike helmet.
This can quit. Let me see if I can. Logitech. I don't mind autofocus being on this one, but I do hate autofocus on my other one. Oh, let me get this.
That still looks pretty cool, though.
Yeah, yeah. There's a cross on the front there, a
Wow.
bunch of roses, and then some other little skulls down there, vines and thorns and stuff. And she didn't want any color in it, so 500,
Damn.
which is a lot. I have a tendency I'll charge 500, and then I'll be like, I'm going to do $500 worth of work, and that's all I'm going to do. And then I start painting it, and I start getting into it, and by the time I'm done, it's worth more than $500.
Someday,
Yeah.
someday
Yeah.
I'll have a dream of bigger and better merchandise. But until then, stickers and buttons is all I can do.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that guy, that guy's working at a bank, so he's got access to everyone's money. But I mean, that's the thing. When you're done, you're muted.
I was saying pinky in the air.
Yeah, right.
Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Yeah, this is how I drink my PBRs. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so anyways, I'm gonna shut it down. Thanks for coming on and hanging out. It's I always do a lot better when I feel like I do a lot better when there's somebody else on the other side to talk to.
Bounce off of, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's in writing this story. That's what I always say. I was saying to Julius, and pretty sure he agrees. It's just like a natural thing. Sometimes you're the ball, sometimes you're the wall. As far as ideas, like you can figure out some of your own problems just by talking to someone else, and then your brain, I don't know what it is, as long as there's somebody out there listening, they don't even have to offer suggestions. It shows up. It's like, it's almost like I want my brain to work better in front of somebody else than I would if it was working just in front of me, because I don't have anyone to impress when there's no one else around. I don't have to I don't have to try as hard. But anyways, I gotta end it. Thanks, Timothy. And I mean, I'll catch you on the next one, maybe. Who knows?
Yep.
All right, man. Peace out, everyone. Don't forget.
Have a good.
Check out Melvin.
Sign up.
Yeah. Sign up. Get that email in your inbox. All right, guy, kid. Have a good one and good luck. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right. See ya.